Well, it's been a cool week across the Northeast. We could potentially see New York City's coldest week since January of 2000, believe it or not, if the temperature stays below freezing during the day tomorrow. But certainly, fun and games are to be had over the next 7 days. We're seeing some of a relief across the Northeast. But as that warming takes place over the plains that you can see here for the day today, heights well up across the central plains here. Plenty of mild air getting forced all the way up into the Dakotas, Minnesota eventually as well. But as you can see here, the trough remains in place all the way into the mid-Atlantic region, northwesterly flow, and highs stuck once again in the 20s up and down the I-95 corridor. But we're going to start to see a system developing over the course of the next 24 hours, anywhere from the western Great Lakes all the way into the interior northeast. We might see a snow and ice event extending through the Ohio Valley as well. So it's going to be certainly an interesting next few days, a tough period as we progress in towards the early week period. But as you can see here, we've got that set up here with the ridge in the central plains, the trough remaining over the northeast. But as we start to progress through the sequence, you can see the ridge of high pressure starting to slide eastwards. The trough gets kicked out, the Arctic air gets kicked out. Folks in the northeast can breathe a sigh of relief. But unfortunately, as that ridge slides eastwards, look at out west, look at the trough and a potential storm system developing here over the Four Corners region. That will start to slide eastwards. As it does so, we're going to start to see the trough deepen and recarve out over the west, eventually the plains, and by the time we reach the latter part of the week, into the northeast as well. So it's going to be a very wild next 7 days, that's for sure. Big temperature flip coming, and you can see here as I progress through the sequence here of the ECMWF that we start to see that ridge of high pressure, the axis sliding into the northeast. But as it does so, Arctic air is coming back in on the back side here. By the time we get out the Wednesday of next week, like you can see here, we need to watch out anywhere from central Texas all the way up into upstate New York. A boundary sets up here. So Arctic air getting driven south once again, while temperatures into the early part of the week, so say Tuesday and the Wednesday, more so Tuesday than Wednesday. Could see highs into the low 40s in Minneapolis, low 50s in Chicago. But by the time we get into Wednesday, temperatures crash once again. We might even see some snows in the backside as this frontal boundary, of course, it's sliding east. Like we're saying with the trough and the ridge, of course, that ridge of high pressure kicking out. We're going to see very cold air getting driven back in the backside. Heavy snow, major temperature crash in the back edge, and of course, out ahead of the front, not only are we contending with flood and rains, but we could be contending with severe weather as well. Anywhere from Georgia up through North Carolina, perhaps extending into South Virginia as well. We might see temperatures boost into the low 70s, but it's very, very brief, folks. It wouldn't surprise me if we actually see temperatures below freezing all day across the panhandle, across North Texas, with snow flying by the time we get out to Wednesday. So it's going to be a wild pattern, but it's that boundary that really concerns me actually as it slides eastwards. And of course, we've got plenty of fuel out ahead of it with the warmth. But by the time we reach out to, say, during the day on Thursday, what we could contend with here is temperatures that are once again struggling to hit 0 in Minneapolis, temperatures struggling to hit 10 in Chicago. So we're going from temperatures in the teens and 20s right now, then they're going to boost back up into the 40s and the 50s for both cities, and then they crash right again, 20, 30, perhaps even more than 30 degrees back colder than what they were the previous 24 hours across these areas. We're going to see a very strong south northwesterly flow that's going to reinforce the Arctic air. Temperatures by nighttime well below 0, and it's going to be a big crash all the way into the northeast and the mid-Atlantic by the time we hit Thursday into Friday of next week. So enjoy it if you're in DC, all the way up into Boston, up in New England. Enjoy this milder air over the next few days, starting say Monday through Wednesday into Thursday. Could see nice temperatures 5 to 8 above normal, but then the Arctic air, the Arctic wolf, comes right back in again very quickly. By the end of next week, we could be seeing temperatures struggling to get above 20 degrees, believe it or not, in the I-95 corridor from DC northwards. by the time we get to Friday of next week here. So very, very interesting. We've got a lot of things in the cards here, and some of the long range models as well, hinting at this trough really staying over the east coast. It's not going to get kicked out like we're seeing at the moment here. And when you look at the stratosphere, it's going to remain warm. And as well as that, we're going to see the NAO potentially going back to negative by the time we reach the second week of February as well. So there's a heck of a lot of winter still to come here. But I'll keep you posted. If you haven't already, check out my UK post from earlier today, because I actually look at more at the stratosphere, the NAO, and the potential implications later down the road as well. So hope you have a good evening wherever you are, and bye for now.